Hello everyone, welcome to our class today. My name is Instructor Anthony Mlelwa and I am a blockchain enthusiast, and today I am here introducing our new course. It's called Introduction to Blockchain, and today we are going to have our first lesson. Our first lesson is going to be about the meaning of blockchain. In this lesson we are going to cover up in most of the stuff that speaks of the history of blockchain as well as the meaning of blockchain. You know, most of the people, they know blockchain from the year of 2008 in 2009, but they do not know exactly when the idea of blockchain started and why it was started. So today I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so I would like to take your concentration toward me, your attention towards me, and then we can discuss about the meaning of blockchain. So in the year of back in the year of 1901, there is two computer scientists called Stuart Haber and Scott Stonetta. They were brainstorming about how they can store information in the way that the information can never be tampered or backdated in any way. Like the details of the information that have been stored should be as they are since the day that they were kept. So they came to think on their perspective of the field that they were educated or they were experienced and professional, which was the computer, and they used the cryptography to secure the chain of blocks to store these documents or informations. So in the year of 1902, they came up with the idea called Merkle tree. So Merkle tree was the concept that it was having the way of saving several documents in the single block, and this information can be fused to one after another hash that's going to give a single hash, but within this single hash it can store a numerous of information that they have different unique identities. So as you can see, this Merkle tree is like you're having a tree and then you're having branches. So from as you can see in this diagram that is visible there in your screen, we have the information L1, L2, L3 and L4. So because they are even numbers, after every two blocks there is one hash that has been created which represents these two hash. So these two hash again can be fused into one hash, which we call it a tree, that when you open this hash you find two other hash. When you open these two hash you find another four hash. These four hash now, they can give you maybe the information for every detail that has been stored in this block. That is how the Merkle tree concept came out with these two guys, Stuart Haber and Scott Stonetta. But this idea actually was not used so much for years. Around the year of 2004, it was forsaken. It was not much used. So it was like forgotten. But it was one of the concepts that created created the attention for people to think about blockchain. Because what Stuart Haber and Scott Stonetta did was to think of the way that they can store information in a computer cryptographically, but this information can never be changed, tampered or played around to change whatever was the original information from these details. So in the next phase now, we are going to meet the guy called Hal Finney. So in our history, when we are discussing about the history of blockchain, this guy called Hal Finney, in the year of 2004, he came up and said, okay, there is a way of using these informations in blockchain, but there is a challenge. You know, sometimes information in which are created digitally, they have a challenge to be easily manipulated. Like it can make a double spending factor to be existing over there. So Hal Finney came and found a solution to something called, to avoid the challenge of double spending. Because right now, as we are having, for example, cryptos, when you see crypto, like, okay, I have one Bitcoin, one Ethereum, what is going to make the difference? Okay, if someone says I have a Bitcoin and another said I have another Bitcoin, and what is going to tell that this Bitcoin is genuine and this one is not genuine? And you know, they are digital information, so they can be manipulated and you know, compromised in one way or another, and then you can find people spending the Bitcoin, but this one is real and this one is not real. So he came up with an idea called a proof of work. Proof of work was a system that is going to validate the protocol that has been made in a certain blockchain that's going to be used to make sure that anything that has to be added in the block as a valid information has to be validated through a proof of work, which is going to be the way he made it to be competitive and more complex for people to just manipulate the information, because existence of proof of work made the information to be public and gave the chance for different miners to exist, to coexist and compete for the complex mathematical equation solving, and the one who is going to win is then going to be awarded. And you know, this is a very important part of a blockchain development stage, because the protocols are the one that can tell that this is Bitcoin and this is from the circulation, and the whole community of miners has to agree, like, okay, this is right, it's a Bitcoin, because the validation of that information has followed the protocol that has been implemented in the given blockchain. If someone else come to compromise, you know, it is possible to compromise, but then the cost that you're going to use is extremely higher than what anyone can afford. So it's practically not possible. That's why you can see the blockchains have a numerous number of participators as validators, but they have the concept and factor that at the end of the day, it has to follow the protocol that has been built in the given blockchain. And this verification of the given protocol for the given incoming transaction that has to be added to the blockchain or to the block, it is validated through the concept that was previously initiated as the first one by Hal Finney, called proof of work. Now we have seen the development process, or the history process, came from Stuart Haber and Scott Sonetta in the year of 1901, and then they came with the Markov tree concept in the year of 1902. And then we came to meet Hal Finney in the year of 2004, which he developed, or he created a concept of solving the problem of double spending. Rest in peace, Hal Finney. He died in the year of 2014 with a neurological disease. I don't know what is it, but this guy was also the first guy to receive a Bitcoin transaction. Many people know the transaction that happened in the year of 2009 when 10,000 Bitcoin was used to buy 2 Pizza. But the first transaction was between Satoshi Nakamoto and Hal Finney. They transacted 10 Bitcoin. So this guy has a real big contribution to the blockchain technology. And despite of this proof of work solution that he brought to avoid double spending of digital currencies or digital information, he really contributed in so many things when it came to development of blockchain. Until the year of 2008, when Satoshi Nakamoto came up with a very strong concept. This one now was creating the concept of decentralization, because in the previous development that was done by Scott Sonetta, Stuart Haber, Hal Finney, there was a central part that was validating anything that was being done in the network. Now Satoshi Nakamoto came with the DLT, distributed ledger technology, which now gave the option to validate the information without depending on a single entity or on a trusted parties. That is, now it came to the point of decentralization. And that is where now Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a first white paper that was explaining on the blockchain with the use case of a finance part, which was Bitcoin. And basically the surprise thing, if you read on the white paper that Satoshi Nakamoto created, it's explaining block and chain as different terms, because he was explaining how blocks are being added with the information and then joined to another block, another existing block. And this brought the point that through this, the concept of Markov tree is here when you are adding one information and another in the same block. And the concept of double spending now is coming through the validation process. But now Satoshi Nakamoto finished up with making the information that we are having to be validated by using the protocol that has been made by the blockchain or the given network, but it does not need any trusted party to validate it. It's a public, it's separated. Everyone who is having a facilities can be able to participate in validating the information to be added in the given block that is belong to a certain network or certain blockchain. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. So these guys, we can tell they did an amazing job to bring up the complete idea of a blockchain. Now, when you go back to the meaning of blockchain now, we can say blockchain, this is an underlying technology which is decentralized, and it is distributed ledger that records and verifies transaction across multiple nodes. When you speak of nodes, you are speaking of the computers which are existing in the given network. These computers are used to validate the information. It is a network of a distributed database, a ledger that is shared among the networks via a cryptography, and it is in a very transparent manner. And it is a very high secure manner. That's why you can find, when you go and check the pillars of blockchain, you can find you have decentralization, which was the finalization of development of blockchain by Satoshi Nakamoto. Immutability, which is the high work done by Hal Finney. Transparency, this is to both, basically to Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto, because now the information validation does not depend on trusted parties, but it's the whole network has to know that this information deserves to be added because it's the protocol that has been created by the given blockchain. And when you speak of security, we have to thank Stuart Haber and Scott Stonetta, because they created the way that you can store information that they can never be created or tampered in any way. So, and when you speak of consensus mechanism, you go back to Hal Finney. So this is what does blockchain was taken from the initial stage to the stage that we are right now, and we are having so many things, but we are going to have the next lesson that's going to talk about whatever the other part of blockchain, how the development has been reached, the evolution and everything. But today the concept was to understand where blockchain concept came from and the meaning of blockchain. So thank you very much. See you in the next class. Bye.